What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Bait Room. This is Baitman Live, and this is the first broadcast I've had in here. My room I've really built in my house, and as you can see behind me, I've got plenty of tackle, got plenty of Bass Mafia boxes, all kinds of stuff. So tonight, I hope to be joined by Mr. Brad Knight, a former FLW Force Wood Cup winner, Strike King Pro, Lose Pros, ARE Truck Caps, Rigid Industries, great dude. He was trying to get on Ike Live the other night, and I reached out to him and said, "Hey, Brad, you want to come on the Baitman show?" And he said, "Sure." So as long as I can get Brad to connect over here, he's going to join us here in just a little bit. And then I'm going to have my buddy Crispin Powley, long time friend. He's going to join us, and we're going to talk about Strike King products. He is in charge of new product development at Strike King. So if you have ever wanted to know about Strike King baits, what goes into developing a product, any new suggestions, tonight is going to be open floor night. And I know we're going to take some notes on that. Hey, what's up, Andrew? I have not forgot about you, buddy. I have neglected you. So we're going to do that kind of stuff. And, you know, we're going to talk a little bit about the state of bass fishing, what's going on, especially in the tournament industry. Lots of big news in the last week. You know, we hinted at it. We can't stop talking about it. I've just really slowed down today. What's up, Evan Barnes? Evan Barnes joins us. He runs Geared, which is in Arkansas. Brad Knight's now watching, so I'm going to see if I can get Brad on here real quick. And here we go. It won't let me. A lot of reviewers to request to join to get as a guest. All right. Brad is in here, but it's not letting me send him an invite. This happens all the time. God dang, why is it doing this? All right. I'm going to ask if Brad, see if you can send an invite to join my broadcast, because when I go to select your name, I can select anybody in here except yours for some reason. I've got to figure out a better way to live stream. I'm working on some other tools. I'm going to have to get with Evan and see what they do down there at Geared, because they get the split screens going on and stuff like that. And I've done it too long on the Redneck cell phone. I'm going to see if I can hit Brad's name and it does this. Okay, here we go. Send it now. Brad, you should get something on your screen. Say you'll want to join, and you'll just hit that accept button, and it should add you in here, and you'll come in on split screen. What's up, Jeff D? You having fun there at Lake of the Ozarks? Hello, Steve. What's up, guys? Long time to see. Glad y'all could join us. There is Brad Knight.
What's up?
Hey, man, I'm glad it worked. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of paranoid about 5:30 when you're like, do I have to use my phone? I'm like, I might have to research this. So, welcome to the Baitman Live, Brad. I know we've talked about it several times. You're coming on, and actually I thought about doing live at the Loose Strike King Writers Conference with you as well, but this will work out.
Sure.
So my first question, you know, you did not announce that you're going to Major League Fishing. Of course, you won the FLW
right.
Force Wood Cup, so you might be pretty partial to FLW. And just going to ask you, what is your thoughts on this from someone that's won at the top level?
Well, I didn't get an invite to go to Major League Fishing, so there wasn't an announcement to really make. You know, I think that some of the FLW guys here lately have taken it upon themselves to put some posts out there about making an announcement that I kind of think is kind of goofy. But, hey, if you didn't get an invite, there's not much of an announcement. And, you know, as of now, my home is FLW, and you know, down the line, if there's an invitation sent out, I'll assess that situation whenever that happens. But for now, I'm a FLW guy, and that's where I've made my home. And FLW has provided me a great living for the last 10 years, and, you know, that's all I can say for that. So I plan on fishing FLW Tour 2019.
Well, you know, I'm happy for you. Of course, you're a Tennessee football fan, and 10 years ago, it's like, man, I don't want to fish out into, you know, September, October because I hunt and the Vols are playing. Now it might be a good thing to just hunt. But
yeah.
let's talk about this year on the tour. You had an awesome showing at Lake St. Clair, and you know, you used the drop shot to win there. I believe it was at Washita last time, correct? And you used a similar technique out at St. Clair, but a lot deeper. So what's the differences in fishing a drop shot up shallow versus out deep like you were doing?
All right. So in 2015, when I won the Cup, I was catching them at the back of a creek that was pretty silted in off of like isolated wood in 3 or 4 feet of water. And a situation that I've seen kind of play out before on like Old Hickory and places where you're fishing isolated wood on that same deal, where you have a couple of inches like silt where you don't have that hard bottom. Bass seem to be hesitant to want to bite a flipping bait that it hits the bottom. They don't like getting that in their silt when they vacuum a bait up. And so if I could present the bait to them to stay up off the bottom, and also to something that with the pressure involved that was happening there would get me some more bites. But that's what happened, and that was the best tactic for me at the Cup that year. Transitioned a couple years forward at St. Clair, you know, drop shotting as a known tactic for catching them out on these Great Lakes and things like that. But what's different about St. Clair versus Erie and other places was that you're just kind of fishing open areas. Like there would be patchy grass and sand spots, and you're just kind of having to cover water a little bit versus fishing an isolated rock pile or something where you're actually able to vertically drop. There were other ways that you were catching them. They were able to catch them at St. Clair. You know, Dylan Hayes was fishing the same area that I was, and he was catching them on a tube and a couple other different things there. So the main thing was we were just getting around them. At that point, it was kind of a confidence thing. I kind of started with a Adobe bait and the Strike King Z2 as well, and we're just kind of changing it up and kind of giving them a couple of different looks there.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned the Z2. I was actually watching YouTube earlier, and it was an old video. Is Mark Zona, and he was talking about drop shotting up north and using the big Z2, and he says you don't get as many bites on that, but your catch size goes from here to like this. I mean, you'll sacrifice 4 or 5 fish, but you'll get a bigger one to put in the boat. Is that something when you get on a catch fish like at St. Clair, where everybody can catch 15 to 16 pounds, will you sacrifice 9 or 10 bites a day to catch that, you know, 5.5, 6 pound fish, especially when you got a shot to, you know, to win?
Oh, absolutely, I will. But you know, for me, I think the key was in the area that we were there. I mean, I would be deceiving you if I said I thought that the bait was instrumental in producing a key bite. It was just I found the area that had bigger ones than anybody else. Catching them was not that difficult once you found the right area and the little thing. Now you had to hunt around them, but once you kind of got on the little group, you could kind of work on them pretty good. And then I think it's more just a confidence thing. It's what do you like doing the best? You know, you could throw a net rig or you could throw a tube, and you know I would kind of mix it up. But at the end of the day, the drop shot was pretty much money for me because it would keep my bait up out of that grass. And I just felt like it just made me a little more efficient.
We might be having,
you know, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right?
Internet connection issues, but right. So our feed's dropping a little bit on Brad's end. Might have a little bit of internet connection issues. That does happen from time to time. Anyway, I was going to ask you this. So you have fished Kentucky Lake 2 of the last 4 years. I mean, you don't live on the Tennessee River, but you live close to Chickamauga. And as you know, this past season, it was a whole lot. It was different. And then 2 years before, you went out the first day and you caught like an almost 9-pounder on a 10XD. What did you see changed on Kentucky Lake other than just carp? Do you think it's a fishing pressure? Do you think it's a bad spawn, in your opinion? And
I would say a combination of a lot of things. Carp definitely have some type of impact there. I don't know if it's, you know, an unpopular thing for me to probably say, but the fishing pressure to a lake can be. But as long as you're having cycles of fish and spawns to replace them, it can sustain. Now, do the carp go in and mess up the beds, or is it a nutrient thing out of the water? I mean, I'm not a biologist, so I don't feel like I can answer that, appropriately. But, I feel like there's a combination of things between overpressure from tournaments. When do you want to go to Kentucky Lake? You want to go in June, end of May. Man, it's, you're catching them. Even though you're letting them go on the spot, it's a tough time of the year to be catching them. I think it's just it's a testament now to how good fishermen are. There's not a whole lot of secrets out there.
Right.
Everybody's got a graph, everybody knows how to read them. Everybody knows how to look at a map card and go, that's where the juice is going to be. And a lot of these schools aren't going to be able to stay grouped up like they are in the years past. So now it's a thing of now it has to be sustainable moving forward. So now when you have a bad spawn or really takes its toll on the fisher. The carp aren't helping at all. So it's a shame really how fast it went down. That was really what was surprising to me. I go every year and fish, even if I don't have a tournament there. I'm going to go out and spend 3 or 4 days just because it's one of my favorite places to go. Just the level of drop off the fish had from years past to this year was really surprising. I was really astonished.
Yeah, I live here. I mean, it's literally walk out this door 3 miles from my house. And, we've had some down cycles, don't get me wrong. But I've never seen it down cycle this quick. And I think it's a combination of a lot of things.
Right.
Carp, lack of bait fish, lots of fishing pressure. Now it's not just BFLs and Costas. Now you've got high school tournaments every week, college tournaments. It's everywhere. And nothing against high school, college fishing. It's awesome. And that just shows you how quick the sport has blown up in 10 years.
No, it's absolutely right. It's a great thing because it's great for the industry. It's great for the sport to see the growth. But at the end, there's got to be some sustainable resources put back into the lakes that we're using. I'd like to see maybe organizations that have profited off of a lake like Kentucky Lake for so long maybe try to lead the charge on doing something to look back. And I know FLW is – I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I know Bill Taylor, I saw some posts from him going to Washington, D.C. to fight for that, for some legislative money. So that was good to see. They've made a lot of money and trimming off of the lake. And, maybe it goes through a downtime. We need to do our part to try to get it back on track. But all lakes do it. I mean, we've seen Gunnersville over the last year or two kind of go downhill, and fishing pressure was a lot to do with that, I feel. Now it kind of got slacked up, and it's starting to kind of come back a little bit. So all lakes are going to cycle and come up and down. It's just the factor of how much the carp is going to play, and then for the rest of the Tennessee River. They're not going away. It's a problem that needs to be addressed, and what the magic answer is, I have no idea. But somebody that's smarter than I am is going to have to be the one to figure that out.
Yeah, and definitely smarter than me. But I tell you what, Brad, I'm glad you joined in here. You've got the Strike King Lose Riders Conference, and they invited me this year.
Yep.
And we're going to spend some time in the boat Sunday, and we're going to film lots of videos. And I'm going to write an article or two. So if guys watching this, you have an idea, what would you like to see Brad talk about in regards to Strike King and Lose products? Drop some questions in here. I'll make sure we get them to him. And is there something that you want me to film a video of, Brad? Do you want to know his favorite ways to fish a lipless in the fall, or his topwater baits, stuff like that? We'll knock it out and cover it. We got like 3 hours Sunday. I think we can get a good job done. We're not going to talk any Tennessee football tonight. I'm past that. Maybe when Crispin gets on here.
There's not a whole lot to talk about. There's not a lot to talk about there, unfortunately.
No.
It's
now, one of our viewers has
here,
asked,
hey, I'm a Tennessee
Strike King bait.
Wow. My favorite what?
Strike King bait. Let's just go ahead and answer that one here on live. What is your favorite Strike King bait?
I still didn't copy. I apologize.
Yeah, we're having some kind of connection issues in here. I I have no clue. It's probably on my end, but Andrew Scott asked,
I
what
got
is
you
your
loud and clear.
favorite Strike King?
A Strike King lure, did you say?
Yeah, what's your favorite all-around one?
I would say the Strike King Rage Bug. That's my go-to. If I've got to get a bite, I can put a 3/8 ounce flipping weight on and a Strike King Rage Bug, and sooner or later I'm gonna catch one pretty quick. That's a confidence bait for me. That's probably my all-time favorite lure. You can just do so many things with it. You can use it as a standalone flipping bait, a jig trailer, a vibrating jig as a trailer, swim jig, Carolina rig it, put it on a wobble head, whatever. It'll bite it.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. That is probably the most versatile bait they make. And I think we need to knock out a video Sunday and show everybody how many different ways we can rig the structure bug and catch fish.
That sounds good to me. We can make that happen for sure.
Well, you're over East Tennessee. You're an hour ahead of me, and I know you got a little girl, and she's in school like my little boy. You know, you got to get the kids in bed, take care of the wife. So, Brad, I appreciate you coming on here. Even though it was short, it was sweet, and you're welcome anytime. And you know what? We may go live on the water Sunday if we get some cell service. But I appreciate you joining me, man.
Sounds good.
Go Vol. I will see you Sunday.
All right. We'll see you soon. Thanks.
All right, guys. Now, we had a little bit of internet connection issues there, but thanks for the feedback. I'm going to go through all the notes on this, and I'll make sure I get it to Brad Sunday, and we're going to get some cool content. Brad Knight is an awesome dude. I'm going to have to get some faster internet, maybe. I think my connection's lagging. I am. Hold on. Let me open this door. Chances are my wife's sitting on Netflix watching some kind of soap opera, so it's eating up all the bandwidth. But anyways, really appreciate Brad for joining in. It was short but sweet. I like what he said about how he's fishing the FLW Tour. Very classy with that. He's made his living there. He's going to stay there. One thing I want to tell guys, man, Joel, I ain't even got a job, buddy. I got to be cheap. I'm starting one though Sunday. One thing I liked what he said is he made his living with FLW and he's going to stay there. If he does get an invitation, he'll assess that. He didn't bash anybody. Brad's been very quiet on social media, and I like that. He is a very classy dude, and you know, that's just how us Vols roll, man. So now, do me a favor, hit that like button. Make sure you share the video so we get more people on here and everything. I haven't asked anybody to do that. Talk about Bass Mafia boxes. Which box for which lure? Man, I got a ton of them here. I mean, this is my square bill box I had on YouTube the other night, and it is almost full. Speaking of Strike King square bills, I'm going to try to get my buddy Crispin on right now, and we're going to do some Strike King talking, unless he just went away. Let's see if he's still on here. I do want to tell guys that I went and rode in a new Vexus yesterday, and that Vexus, that's a nice boat. That is a nice boat. Well, I have to wait till Crispin gets back on here. The Vexus was a sweet boat. So if you don't know about Vexus boats, Keith Drafton and several of the guys that were originally with Ranger Bass boats, they went and formed Vexus. It is an aluminum boat, but it's got a fiberglass infused hull. And I'll be honest, I've been pretty skeptical about the whole thing until I got in one and I rode in one yesterday. Yeah. If you're an angler that's got a budget, all right, Crispin, I'm gonna hit you up. If you're an angler, you're on a budget and you can't afford a $60,000, $70,000 bass boat, go look at the Vexus. The AVX 1880 was pretty nice. It rode really good. You get the 4-stroke Pro XS. I think we got up to 55 miles an hour. But there's several good bass boats out there. I'll write a review on the website and drop a YouTube video tomorrow. And that's something I'd really like to do. I'd like to jump in with the boat with the Jake Lawrence from ACS Marine, and love to jump in a new Phoenix with him, do a complete bass boat tour review. Maybe Shane Jewell let me jump in one of them used boats he sells there at Power Stock. They've been upgrading and reselling. Maybe we could do something like that. Vexus is spelled V-E-X-U-S. Man, I see Scott Canterbury on here. I wish Scott would jump on the live feed. Maybe he'd... There we go. Crispin is going to join in. Let's get Crispin Powley in for like, dude, me and Crispin have been friends so long. Our friendship started on MySpace. Now, it just, as friends, you know, we weren't trying to, you know, go on dates on MySpace or anything, but that's how I got to know him. He was actually working for Stratus Boats. Oh, there he is. That is Mr. Crispin Powley. Man, you're in a lot better shape than I am, Crispin.
It's just a tight shirt. I'm fat.
Yeah. Well, Crispin, I was explaining to them that we actually met on MySpace. We weren't like trying to date each other. It just happened to be that was the social network back then.
That's right.
So, explain for those who don't know you. I'll be quick to the point. Crispin, he worked for Stratus, then went to Strike King. He worked in the national sales manager. Now he's in new product development. Not only is he a good friend, he's a great Christian, and I totally respect him. And I call him with off-the-wall stuff all the time, and he tells me a lot of stuff people don't want to hear, but it's good stuff. And he has got an event coming up Saturday at Missionary Grove Baptist Church he's going to tell you all about. But Crispin, you tell us the goods of what it's like to be in charge of new product development at Strike King.
Well, man, right now I'm just kind of trying to get my feet under me. I've been very fortunate to be in sales with Strike. We had awesome people in this role in the past, and it made my job just super easy. It's not hard to sell the stuff that Phil Marks has been kicking out for a long time.
God, what is this stream? Oh, man, the stream's dropping. What is going on? Are you watching anyway? Can you turn it off? Because it's my live's not working. Uh-oh. Reprimand my wife and tell her to get off Netflix for a little bit. So I'm really sorry about that, guys. I apologize. So we're going to try this again. I have good Wi-Fi too, but it's going crazy. No, I need to get a Wi-Fi because my Wi-Fi modem's in a different room.
I'm back.
Let's see if this will work, Crispin. Yeah, that
was
quick. That was quick. All right. Yeah, for the moment.
Okay. Well, let's make the most of the moment.
All right, let's go.
All right. So anyway, what I was saying, been in sales for 14 years. Phil Marks has done an incredible job with new products. And the direction our company's going now, we're going to put just an increased emphasis on new products. And they gave me an opportunity to step into this role full time. And I was actually really excited about it. It's something I've done a lot of in the past, and it's just, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to just really concentrate on coming up with some cool new stuff, collaborating with our pro staff, and just seeing what we can do in the future at Strike King.
Right. I'm pretty excited. As you know, there's a lot of different new techniques out there right now. We've talked about this, and one thing I'm looking forward to is seeing some more development products for finesse fishing, like Ned rigs and stuff like that. Ned is the rage right now. Not to mix it in with Rage Crawl, but there's so many products that I see in my head that I want to share with you that I think would be great for the upcoming 2019 at ICAST and some other stuff.
I mean,
let's see. I'm going to ask.
I mean, I'll.
Can you see the chat question?
Can I see the questions? Yeah, man.
Okay. Answer this one guy's question here. He asked earlier, why are there not as many colors in larger cranks as the small ones, like the 2.5 and larger?
Sure. And the answer to that is it doesn't always apply to the tournament angler, but for the most part, we sell way more of the smaller sizes. And due to that, we've got to make mod sets and be relevant in certain regions. So with that being said, we're a little heavier color wise in the smaller sizes.
Correct. Brings me to a good point. How many of your products are designed for a tournament angler versus just a guy that wants to go fishing, whether it's in a pond, off the bank? What I like about Strike King is they have something for everybody, but if you're a serious guy, they do have tournament baits.
Right. Yeah, man. You know what's funny? When I started here about 14 years ago, I got in at the perfect time. If you could ever say the Lord just opened a door for you, I got in when Strike King was just about to launch into the stratosphere. And when I started, we had a pretty good lineup of baits, but now we make everything from, mini kings for a guy that wants to take his kid to fish in the pond to, stuff that wins at the pro level every weekend and at the regional level every weekend. And we really, the cool thing is within our organization, we have some pretty high-level anglers. We've got guys that have won a bunch of big tournaments. We've got guys that have won a bunch of medium tournaments. And then we have just a bunch of avid anglers that just love to go fishing. We take all that input, put it together, and I know it sounds like a sales pitch, but, man, it's the truth. We've got Strike King has golf clubs. We've all got rod and reels.
Right. I've been very fortunate that if I've ever needed anything, that you've helped me out, and I don't ask for a whole lot. And the reason I do isn't because I'm trying to be on a pro staff, it's because, dude, the baits catch fish, period. If you looked at the sales numbers I've seen behind closed doors at places I've worked, Strike King is always at the top. And it's not just buying it on days when it's on sale. It's pretty much every week. And guys really believe in it. I do owe somebody something. I got a guy watching. His name's Andrew Scott. He's a good friend of mine from West Virginia. You need to get a hold of Andrew. He loves Strike King. I'm telling you, Crispin, this dude's ordered 10 grand of stuff, and it's just been Strike King. So somehow throw this guy a bone. I'm putting him on the spot. But he's a really good guy. And he's got a great of what's going on with him. But anyway, let's get into some more questions real quick. Crispin, have y'all considered putting premium hooks on some baits? I like that comment. Maybe, you got the tour grade jigs and spinner baits, maybe a tour level 6XD that has a little bit better hardware on it.
We actually, the tour grade moniker came to be. We used to rig some baits with premium hooks. We had a tour grade line of crankbait. And truthfully, what we learned is that the hook you like may not be the hook I like. So we're not going to jack the price up on something when it may not even be the high-end hook you want anyway. I I'm very particular about, the hooks that I really like. But some of my best friends, there's no way you're going to win that battle.
Yeah, absolutely. I do a lot of these live videos, and everyone asks, "What's my favorite? What's the best?" And I'll say, "Yeah, I love this Owner 5/0 worm hook." And then the next guy's, "Well, you need to be using the Gamakatsu." And then the other guy goes, "Man, no, you need Eagle Claw." And I've just learned through my experience what works best for me. I don't mind telling the guy, but I'm never going to tell him what they like is wrong. And dude,
Sure.
I'm lazy. I hardly ever change the hooks out on my crankbaits. I actually like the ones from Strike King. For the most part, they work pretty good. Then again, I don't catch as many as like Joe Nunnery or some of these guys.
I mean, I'm not the angler that a lot of these guys that are commenting here is, but I've caught a lot of fish on our stock hooks. And, one of the things that we really shoot for, we do produce a top quality product. I'll put our product against anybody's, but we also try to make something that everybody can afford. And when you go to putting, these premium, name hooks on there, you're going to jack the price up. And like I said, it may not even be the hook you want, and you're just paying more for a bait, and you're going to change the hooks out anyway.
So let's talk about a new bait, one that I had prototype number uno, like it was clear. And this was like 2.5, 3 years ago. You actually gave it to me after Tennessee beat Florida, said go throw this and have it painted. Let's talk about the Mega Dog. I don't know if you got one laying around, but what makes the Mega Dog? Oh yeah, what makes the Mega Dog extra special? Other than it's just bigger than a sexy dog.
So, I'm gonna be real transparent. I've thrown a bait for a long time called a Lunker Punker by Black Dog, and something that not a lot of guys here throw. I know some guys do, but the quality of fish that you need to win on Kentucky Lake, they eat bigger shad to see the size of the shad that these fish will chase out of the water, and you catch one and his tail sticking out of their throat. And so the Mega Dog, really, I would say it's kind of born out of necessity. We wanted a topwater bait that specifically mimicked a giant bait fish. And so not only do you get the increased visibility, it's louder, it walks wider, it displaces a lot more water. It is a really cool bait. I've fallen in love with that bait since the prototype.
Yeah, I thought it might be hard to talk a few of those guys at Strike King and say, hey, we're going to make this big giant topwater and it's going to sell. And I think a few went, are you sure? Now, Ray Hanselman, I know that he would want one double the size if he'd do it.
Well, we've got some guys.
Oh man,
we've got some guys in our our management that are sticks, and they don't have any issue throwing that big bait around.
Yeah, and our buddy Sam, he told me he won that Ranger Boat Owners Tournament here on Kentucky Lake on the Mega Dog. So Sam's an awesome topwater fisherman. I know the guys are always talking about ledge fishing and whatnot, but Sam is probably one of the best topwater fishermen on the lake.
He may be the best topwater fisherman I've ever been in the boat with.
All right, what else can we expect from Strike King? Or is there any other new products that are kind of flying under the radar we might want to plug in here? I'll be honest, I'm waiting on my care package from Copley. I'm probably going to have to pull his hair Saturday.
Yeah, you don't hold your breath on Copley. I love him, but
yeah, I see Bart from Bass Mafia joins. What's up, JB? Now that's a guy. If I say, hey man, I need a Mafia box, I got some crankbaits put in here. It's in my house in like 2 days. Awesome dude. They take care of their customers for sure at Bass Mafia.
That's I tell you what, that's one of my favorite people on earth, Bart Langley, and that is the most premium product line out there. I love those guys. I love the products. I use nothing but Bass Mafia boxes myself.
The sad part is your tackle room is probably 3 times the size of what I'm sitting in, and it's 10 times fuller than what I'm sitting in. You need a lot of boxes and money bags.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Someone says Strike King needs
Bass Mafia makes my life easy.
Someone said this is a good idea and something I might have. Cordell Patterson just scored a touchdown for the Patriots. My man, CP84.
CP Flash.
Strike King with the deep flat side crankbait.
Well, you know, we've got a KBD 1.5 flat that we came out with a couple years ago, and man, it's actually a really good bait on the radar. It has just not gotten the love that it deserves. I love that thing in late winter, early spring. It runs, 8 or 10 feet deep, and it's got that real tight, flat side action. It's a cool bait.
All right, I knew this was going to happen. Mark Pierce wants a Silent 8 and 10XD. I know the answer, but go ahead and let everybody know.
Well, can I just say that I want it also? So,
yeah, we both know that.
It's one of those deals. It's one of those deals. I may or may not have some, but it's one of those deals that, well, there again, man, that's a premium deal. I would love to see us bring it out, but your market is so small on that.
Here's a good one from a buddy of mine, Webb Collins. I've known him for a while. Will Strike King ever bring back the Saber Point worm hooks on their own line of hooks? And I've heard that Strike King may get into some other stuff in the terminal tackle outside of hook sinkers, maybe in the line categories and stuff. Is there any truth to that?
Man, I mean, I hear something about what we're getting into that we aren't. I don't know that any of us really know what the future holds. That's a great opportunity now with our current management and the resources we have. That I think if we can identify an area where we can win, we'll play there.
Right. I wasn't trying to, just put you on the spot or say something I shouldn't. I think when you look at Strike King as a brand, when I look at it as a brand, they don't make anything their crankbaits, they're good. Their soft plastics are good. Their terminal stuff is good. Spinner baits, buzz baits is great. You look at some other companies, I'm not pointing fingers, but they've tried to do so much and branched out in so many different ways. They're only excelling in 1 or 2 areas, and the rest just kind of ends up setting to the side, Like Zoom Plastics. They do plastics as good, if not better, than anybody, and that's their bread and butter. They don't jump out into spinner baits and all this other stuff. And one thing I like about Strike King, they may have a lot of variety, but if they put it out for retail, it's going to catch fish.
Yeah, we don't just do the throw it out there and see what sticks things, and I feel really good talking to people about our products, because if we come to market with it, we're very comfortable with the fact that it's going to make you better. It's going to perform it's going to do what you want from it. And it gets a little hard at times when your product line gets that broad to be able to really, and look, man, there's some great companies out there that make some great products, that don't say Strike King on them for sure. But there's also some companies out there that you'll see that sometimes it just going darts and hoping something sticks. We don't want to do that.
Right. And there's also some companies out there, I'm not going to mention any names, but if you're watching the show, you probably know they don't even really design anything. They find where the latest Chinese factory is and slap a name on it and, hey, new product. But No, I don't want to get into that. I'll write a controversial article or something for that. Brian Head, my buddy down there in Arkansas, Denali Rods, he's asking about flat living rubber material that used to be on the old buzz baits and the old spinner baits. I remember that. I got some of those. Any chance of that living rubber coming back?
Well, we make a that was let's just call it the comeback jig now. That utilizes living rubber.
Yeah.
There is some niche areas there where it's still popular, and Brian, obviously, where he lives, living rubber is a big deal.
Right. And now, from my experience in retail, a silicone skirt sells 10-to-1 over living rubber. One, the material for living rubber is a little harder to get, and then everybody's like, people are like, man, I want round. Then the next guy wants flat. Well, if you look at it from a retail perspective, then you've got to carry 15 different SKUs for 4 colors, and you eat a lot of space up real quick.
Yeah, and truthfully, the color options just really aren't there on living rubber anyway.
Here's a good question. Does Strike King have a depth chart for line size and type of each crankbait other than what's on the package? It would be nice to see a study on popular line brands. So I guess she's asking, do you a fluorocarbon, a braid, and a mono chart for each crankbait. I don't know if you could put that on a package, but it'd definitely be something cool to offer on a website. Maybe that's something I need to make for the Baitman. I don't know, line size guide for crankbaits, but I just throw 10-pound test on everything.
That scares me.
I know. I learned that from Jeff Defew, man. I've seen him catch so many big ones on that 10-pound test with the 10XD. It's got me convinced.
He can catch them, dude.
All right, let's talk about some other stuff, Crispin, other than just baits real quick. I'm going to ask you, what are your thoughts on Major League Fishing? Now, Strike King Baits have won 2 Summit Cups, so let's not get that part in. Your personal, you're in the industry thoughts on what's going to happen here.
Man, I've had an opportunity to talk to a lot of guys who are going that direction. I've talked to some who are not. I think that it's a unique opportunity that the industry's really been headed in this direction for a while. I love bass. I love FLW. They've done so much for the sport. I've fished both of them at, to some level, as has most of my friends and all of our pro staff guys. And not to take anything away from them, because I think we owe them a lot. But with that being said, at the end of the day, the anglers are the product. The tournament is just a platform. And people seem to forget that, I think, that these guys are what draw crowds, which draw sponsors, which sell product. And without the guys, man, you just have a tournament trail. And there's a million of them across the country. And I want every one of them to flourish, but you can't blame Major League Fishing for doing what they've done. They've gone in there because it's kind of like, by the anglers for the anglers, so to speak. And they built it the way, if they could have it any way, they've got it that way now. And I think they're going to give increased exposure to the sport. I think they're going to give increased exposure to tournament fishing, to the products, to the anglers. It's going to give the anglers a chance to be more valuable and therefore, benefit their families better. Man, I think I think it's a good deal. I really do.
Right. I'd see a lot of people say, and I disagree on this, they say, well, the fishermen can be replaced. I feel like some can, but can you replace a Gerald Swindle? Can you replace a Brad Knight? Can you replace, and this goes over any tour, can you replace a James Watson or a Van Dam? It's not just their abilities, because there's some great anglers and I'm going to put him on the spot. Steve Kennedy is absolutely, I feel, a top 5 fisherman of all time. I love Steve. I like his personality, but Steve does not appeal to very many people. Matter of fact, I said something about him, how good he was on Kentucky Lake, and the younger guys were like, "Who the hell is Steve Kennedy?" And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah,
but
they forgot about
say
that
Gerald
FLW
Swindle,
back when.
Yeah, but if you say Gerald Swindle to a guy at Walmart, it's, "Oh yeah, I know that dude. He's funny. He's on Facebook all the time. The G-Man." That's where I feel that statement is everybody can be replaced. Should be some guys can be replaced, but not everybody.
You know, Kevin, to give a different perspective on it, I've been in the fishing industry for 20 years now, and there are certain guys, and it doesn't mean not just every pro. There are certain personalities within the sport that just move the needle. They sell product. Right. They are the ones that can show you significant growth in your company from what they represent. And you know, for anybody who says the guys can be replaced, those kind of guys can't be replaced. I promise you, from a sponsorship standpoint, they cannot be replaced.
Yeah, a good friend of mine, and I feel he's done an awesome job of Strike King his whole career. Mark Menendez. He's had his own baits with signatures. He's staying in the Elite Series, and I think that's a great move because now Strike King is going to have one of their top representatives, I feel, staying with Bassmaster. And dude, Mark can sell product. He's a great guy. And I think Mark's kind of on the edge of, I'm probably going to retire in a couple of years. I know his kids are getting older, and he's wanting to stay around the house more, and that makes perfect sense. And
sure.
You know, from striking standpoint, if you've had a bunch of guys go to Major League Fishing, well, you got Brad Knight on FLW who's going to represent you well. Now you got Mark Menendez on the Elite Series, and Mark moves product. That's a good look. You've got all your bases covered. You want everybody going to one platform, and that's the only exposure you get. Uh-oh. I must have made him mad. He's dropped out. You can say, Johnny Brooks, who gave them the platform? The anglers gave themselves a platform. Bass doesn't come knock at your door and ask if you want to come fish their tournaments. You build your and same with FLW. FLW gives a great platform. I think the fish Nazis have cut me off. Where is Alex Jones in here? The deep state has knocked Crispin off the air. Bait Wars. Holy cow. I don't know, man. I got to get a Wi-Fi booster. It's not all on my end. You know, Crispin, he lives out in the sticks, out there in Camden, Tennessee. I think we've got some plants from tournament organizations that are trying to dismantle the Baitman feed. They don't want the truth. The truth is not well liked anymore in the United States of America. And Crispin's back. He's back. So we'll try getting back in here. That's right, JB. I agree with that. But I'm also this guy. If you're an angler making whatever decision, I don't want to get into better or Major League Fishing. I want to, if a guy makes a decision and it's best for him and his family, financially, spiritually, if he really feels that's how to better himself, I'm totally for it. Because trust me, I've made decisions that a lot of people wouldn't agree with, but it was better for my family. So, and at the end of the day, I'll just tell you, all I care about, show me the bait. Show me the bait that wins, and I don't care about the rest. Because most guys, that's all they're watching for anyway. Crispin, they want to say, all right, what color sexy dog was this guy throwing?
That's right. That's right, man. And you know, all the platforms have their unique differences that make them great. I mean, FLW has an incredible grassroots program, a farm system. bass and the Federation, and I mean, it's just an iconic brand. Man, welcome to capitalism. Welcome to Major League Fishing.
Right. All right, let's I don't want to hit on that too much more. Let's talk real quick. What do you have going on Saturday night? I'm going to try to attend. I got to go to that Writers Conference meeting too. Faith, Friends, and Family. Is that correct?
It's Faith, Family, and Fishing.
Faith, Family, Fishing. Correct.
Yep. So I'll give you a real brief rundown of what it is. It's an event we started through my church, Missionary Grove. This is our 6th year doing it. And, man, I live in Camden, Tennessee. People here are fishermen. They're outdoorsmen. They're, this is why you live here. You don't live here for the fine dining or the shopping. You live here because you love the outdoors. And we just wanted, I go to a church that's full of outdoorsmen, some good outdoorsmen. And we wanted to do something that was relevant to that kind of shared our passions for the outdoors with our community. But at the same time, man, like the thing that matters most in our lives is telling them the good news of Jesus. So we have this event every year where we put it all together.
Right.
And, man, we give away tons and tons of stuff. First 100 kids get a free rod and reel. We've got, you got a second where I can tell you some of the people who have donated stuff?
Hey, I don't have a job. I got plenty of time. I don't know about you.
Rock on, Baxter. Rock on. Hey, look, we've got obviously tons of Strike King stuff, Lou's stuff, Denali rods, favorite rods, Bass Mafia, Vicious, Can Cooker, Avery, Banded. We've got guide trips. I saw Jimmy Mason jump on here. He donated a guide trip that we're gonna have a silent auction for. And man, it's just TH Marine. It's crazy, man. We just got Costa. Duckett Fishing sends us a bunch of stuff. Tim Grounds calls. Lucas Marine. Dude, it's an awesome time, and we're gonna give the vast majority of it away. We just want you to come, have a good time. Let's talk fishing. Let's do something with our family, and we just want a chance to tell you how awesome Jesus is too. So that's what it's about, man. It doesn't cost a dime. You're gonna get a free meal. We've got Greg Bohannon, Wesley Strader, Billy McDonald, and Brad Knight's going to be with us Saturday night giving some fishing seminars.
Yeah, that's a great lineup. The year I went, if you've never heard Shaw Grigsby give his testimony and his fishing story and his life following Jesus, you got to listen to it. He's a good dude, and listening to these anglers talk about their faith, and most of these guys that are, I hate to say it, that are really open about it, they kind of hang up there near the top quite a bit. I don't want to say, well, it's 100% because they're Christian. I think a lot of it is they're strong-willed, and because they're so strong-willed with their faith, they're just like that in their fishing as well.
Man, I mean, living a life following Jesus, you've got this hope and this peace and this clarity that I never had prior to that. And I could only imagine what it would be like making a living where every decision you make impacts your income. I think it's I'm not that health and wealth prosperity guy, but it just makes life better.
That's right. All right. We have been on for about an hour now. I'm gonna go ahead and put you on the spot. We don't have a football game to watch Saturday.
We're not going to lose.
My blood pressure is going to be awesome. I'm going to feel great. I'm not watching Kentucky or anything.
Look, man, we're not losing Saturday.
But Crispin, that's right. Here's the deal. Okay, someone asked, what's up with a Magnum Mini Scrub?
I mean, it's certainly in the pipeline. I'll just go ahead and throw that out there. It's a no-brainer for us. The Menace and the Baby, they're home runs, and I mean it's the next obvious evolution of that bait design.
Well, I'm looking forward to coming and hanging out with you next week. I'm gonna be working nights. Talk to Mr. Coughlin. I told him what times of the day I can show up next week. We'll hang out. We'll design some Ned stuff. Always great hanging out with the guys from Strike King. A lot of you guys are like family to me. You've always treated me awesome. And I'm glad you joined me on the show. You can be a guest anytime. One day I'm just going to have to come over there, and we're just going to have to, no split screen. We'll just go ramble on whatever. We would make a good podcast duo.
Dude, let's do it. You say when, man. You can come down. We'll I'll get my bride to cook us up some nachos. We'll hang out and shoot one from the basement here.
It sounds good. Well, guys, I'm going to jump off the Baitman Live. If you're just now catching it, I'll be uploading this on YouTube as well. Next Thursday night, we'll see if we can get a guest on. You let me know here in the comments what you would like to see a topic. I have not done a swim bait show this year, so I have a feeling that's what we're going to see. Thank you again, Crispin, for joining. I'm going to sign you off here. And guys, I look forward to it every Thursday night. And Tuesday night, we do Tackle Tuesday on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Hey, what y'all think of the bait room? It's almost like the Bass Mafia room up in here. But anyway, thank you so much, guys. I hope you all have a blessed weekend. I'll probably be tired. Next Thursday, I'm going to start at 6 o'clock because I got to be into work at 8 o'clock at night. I got to build some windows for Pella. So, got to get that money so I can keep doing cool video stuff on the side. Thank you guys so much for joining. You guys are awesome and the reason I jump on here.